This is Chris Keys for Premier Guitar. Today I'm at the Exit Inn in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm joined by Paige Hamilton of Helmet. Paige, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
It's been, I think, over 10 years since you spoke with Perry on the tour bus, I think at this exact venue. So
yes.
It's cool, full circle moment. You got you on stage. Obviously, people have already heard you play a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll ask you to do that throughout the interview. But talk to me about what's on your shoulder here. This is not, the magenta horizon that people associate you with.
This was the first signature model I did with ESP. And it was based on the aluminum leaf that a friend of mine, Eric Sanko, who's an artist in New York City, plays in Skeleton Key. He was at Lounge Lizards, John Lurie and stuff.
Okay.
He's a great artist. And I had this black guitar, and I didn't want it black guitar. And so he had this aluminum leaf, and he put it on the top, and we finished over it. And it just looked gorgeous. And so I wanted to kind of recreate that. So it's this brushed aluminum look. Originally, my fantasy was that my first signature guitar would have a neck pickup and a bridge pickup, because I do a lot of movie stuff and soundtrack work, and so I wanted a really versatile guitar. But then I just found I can't deal with a neck pickup in Helmet. So I've done this. ESP, I drive them nuts. They make me a beautiful guitar with, I'm like, yeah, I want the neck pickup. They made me this beautiful guitar recently, and then like 2 weeks later, I'm like, can you just take everything out? I just want the bridge pickup. They're just like, yeah, okay. So then they plug it here, fill these plugs in. But that was kind of the original magenta ESP, which is at home now. We have we have the replica that I travel with. So this
that one's just probably a studio friend. The original.
That stays home now. Yeah, I got lost in Mexico for my tech said like 4 or 5 weeks, and I'm like, I'm not traveling with it anymore.
Wow.
So this is the relic, or whatever you call it, the reissue of that guitar, the second signature model. So it sounds incredible. I mean, ESP does not make bad guitars.
They even put the spring in there, what you put in the original?
Yeah, we put the spring in there. We don't have the fat guy from the Led Zeppelin album cover, because from Physical Graffiti, there was the guy sitting in the window there, and so that was in the original. And then there's a dog pile sticker on the back of the original. I always take my back plates off to use the springs for sound, something I stole from Caspar Brotzmann, the great German guitarist.
You guys did that record together in the 90s.
Yeah, Zulu Time. Yeah.
So would you say throughout the night, especially with Helmet, this would be now your kind of main guitar?
This is my main. Okay. Yeah, this has been my main on this run. It kind of varies each tour for some reason. I have one of these with our Europe setup. I have one of these and one of those as well, and it's just kind of different nights, different guitars sound better, or you just have a feel for it depending on. I don't know. It's weird. Like, I have a black one that I love, a Horizon Custom. I was using that, but this one is just sounding really good right now. And then these pickups, because you can see, are DiMarzios, and they're designed by Steve Blucher, who's kind of
big history with them.
Pretty retired, and I'm friendly with Larry and stuff. I'm a little bit. I got to be honest, I'm not even on their website, and it kind of pisses me off because Steve designed these pickups with me.
Yeah, the Air Zone, right? Air
Zone. We did it together in our basement rehearsal space that we shared with Sonic Youth and the Weigels way back in the 90s. And we came downstairs. I had a TC parametric EQ. I'd play. And being a non-technical guy, I'd be like, I can't feel it right here. I need to feel it right here when I go up here. I got to feel that in the back of my teeth. And it's like this is too. I need to feel the air down here. And so Steve would be like, okay. He'd go wind a pickup, put it in the guitar, come back, and we'd do the same thing all over again until we came up with this pickup. And then I asked Larry a couple of years ago, why couldn't it be the Paige Hamilton? And he didn't say anything, nothing. But whatever, they're great pickups, and Blucher's a genius.
Well, with your time with Steve, how many times do you think we went back and forth in that original design?
The original pickup, it took us about probably the total, 4 or 5 weeks.
Okay.
But I think, I'm going to say it was a long time ago. I'm going to say it was probably the 4th time I was like, yes.
I could feel it in all the quadrants of my head.
It's like clearing my head and my bowels or whatever. Yeah, Steve. Good work. So,
now, are all those in kind of the same across all these horizons here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every guitar has the same pickup. The blades that he'd put in my fenders, my Strats, and other guitars I use, I don't know what he did.
Okay.
He just told me, he said, I have these pickups that, you know, and he
just
came up
trust
with
him.
something. I trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have an old original ADA flanger, and he and I have talked, you know, a lot about sound and pedals and stuff, and he can hear, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's, we talked about that pedal, which I love the pedal, but it does compress the signal, and it's, you know, it's got like 2 applications, you know, like most pedals, you know, you can't get a million sounds out of a pedal, but you know, it's fun. I love working with Steve. He's total crack up, you know, he's a hilarious dude, really funny.
Well, on that note, let's move along. We have the Fryette here. We already kind of alluded to that this has been a long mainstay in your rig for a long time. What is your, you know, obviously you have a strong relationship with Stephen Fryette.
Yeah.
But what have you liked so much about the Pitbull and what that offers for you and what it does for Helmet, and apparently all your other gigs?
The first amp that he brought me was a 2150. I hope I'm remembering the numbers. We were at Capitol Records working on the Aftertaste album in LA, and I wasn't happy with my power amp. It was a modified amp that kept overheating and cutting out, and Steve Blucher said, and I also, the rig I had was all custom. Spent thousands and thousands of dollars on preamps and a tube buffer, but we'd have to disconnect, we'd have to unscrew the back plate of the tube buffer and have it hanging off the back during shows because it was shorting out. It was just a mess, and I said, I just want an amp that if everything craps the bed, plug straight in and I can rock the show. And he said, you should check out this guy VHT, you know, now Fryette. And he brought that power amp in, and the co-producer Dave Sardi and the engineer Greg Gordon and everybody at Capitol, the minute they unplugged from the I won't say what company that made the other amp, and plugged into the Fryette, everybody stopped what they were doing. I was like, what is that? Oh my God, that's my new power amp. And it was just like life-changing. And then Steve and I developed a relationship, and he started talking about his different amps, and he knows what I do, and he's a fan of the band and stuff. And I said, it's got to be great to have a 3-channel amp, and so here we are. So I have old Marshalls too, and they're great amps, but for what we do, because I use kind of denser chords. I'm going to take the gate off for a sec and go. I could actually go to the clean channel if I want, and just so we could hear. So a lot of the Helmet chords don't contain thirds. So if you were going to play we're in drop tuning, right? C. So this would be like this is not concert pitch because we're tuned down to C, but I'm lazy.
I feel like you're about to give me a lesson.
I'm not going to transpose. So this would be, it's an F major 7 sharp 11 chord with the third in there. But the first chord that I came up with in Helmet in whatever year was this. And I just love that big open sound. But you listen to all the bottom and top. So you have all those overtones that are happening when you add distortion, and a lot of amps just muddle it up and turn it into kind of indecipherable gook. And I want to hear those chords because that's what the melodies are derived from, those chords. You know, here's a major 7 sharp 11, with no thirds, and it's an open E string, which is going to be a 6 or 13. So sus chord, major 7. I showed this to Limp Bizkit, but I don't think they did anything with it. So I just love that I can hear that have this full spectrum, and I can hear every, I can hear the color of the chord, and I can get that feeling, because obviously chord colors create an emotional, there's an emotional response, and that's, and if you just hear the mush, like amps that are super midi, like mid-rangey, and you can't hear the upper tertials, it's really frustrating for me. And I just, like with Steve, I've been so happy for, man, I don't even know how many years now, 1996.
Wow.
So a long time we've been working together, and so, yeah. So he's got something in the works, but he didn't want me to talk about it yet. But I want to talk about it.
Something to look on the horizon for.
Yeah, I want to talk about it so bad. But he's like, no, I'm not ready. I'm like, okay.
He's one of those mad scientists that, I'm sure everything has to be checked in terms of wanting to get it out the door.
He's a genius. There's no question. I've been so lucky to work with him and Blucher. We're just brilliant. Both brilliant guys that can hear. And it's just been awesome for me, because I started started off, and I bought my first Marshall at Sam Ash in Queens, you know, and I didn't have anybody, you know, that would be like, yeah, I can help you make that sound better. Here's what you do. I was just plugging like these lousy digital preamps into the front of these you know, this beautiful Marshall. I had this 50-watt Marshall, and I plugged like a Yamaha GEP50 into the front of it, and that's my sound. Everybody's like, yeah, such a great sound. And we know, I had this conversation with Billy Gibbons when we played with ZZ, and I was like, I was really surprised to see you play like a late model Telecaster and a Digitech like 2112 preamp. And he's like, it's, you know, it's all on the hands page, and basically it is.
Yeah.
This gear is important. So, but you find what works for you, and what you can make, you know, the amp that you can make sing and sound right, and, you know, work for what you're doing, you know, and Fryette's just been amazing, you know, so.